Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for Puck with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV, on X, as well as on YouTube. We have a small slate of games. Well, still 5 games on deck. Plenty of opportunities to jump in to these games. We got some underdogs definitely barking, and we've got me frustrated with the Edmonton Oilers. What the heck happened with the Edmonton Oilers? Yes, returning home from a road trip, but a road trip that they lost 5 in a row, and then were able to dig deep, beat the Carolina Hurricanes, pick up some points, break that losing streak, but then they came home to face the Anaheim Ducks. In that game last night, they allowed 4 goals in the first period to the Ducks, and that was basically the end of that game as the Ducks won at 6-2. Connor McDavid scoring on the power play to be that second goal there for the Edmonton Oilers. They scored in that first period as well. Just terrible game out there for them. I thought we were straight on the money with the Edmonton Oilers in the first period, over 1.5 goals for their own team total. It didn't come into play, but Calgary got a nice big win. So great to see Calgary get a win over the Philadelphia Flyers. They had the opposite style of game. They were able to go in and light that lamp. If you played around with those goal scorers, the revenge angle, we did see Kuzmenko score for the Philadelphia Flyers. It was great. Morgan Frost putting those points up on the board. So it was a nice day out there on the ice. And let's jump into today's matchup. So we're going to look here. Good morning. Good to see you. I haven't seen you around for a while in the comments. So thanks for stopping in today. We're going to look at all of these games here. We're going to do the recap at the end as well. So let's jump into the first one. The Washington Capitals taking on the New York Rangers. This one has a total of 5.5. You're going to have to lay the juice to the over at minus 132. And I can't get there with the full game to that over. I do think with what we've seen out of Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers, it is tough to take this game to the over unless you think the New York Rangers are going to put up 3, 4, 5 goals themselves, because I do think the Washington Capitals hit 2 goals at the most. So be cautious with that total. Plus 106 here for the Rangers at home in the Garden. Minus 128 for the Caps. Now, looking at this matchup here, I'm waiting for goalie props for Igor Shesterkin. So make sure you do stay tuned to YouTube as well as X for the post on what I'm going to do with Igor Shesterkin for his save shots on goal. I do think the Washington Capitals are going to pepper him today, and I'm looking to take him to the over. I'm expecting Igor Shesterkin to stand on his head. When he is hot, he is incredibly hot, and we know he's a goaltender that you want down the stretch. We've seen the New York Rangers win their last 2 games, shutting out the teams in both of those. They won that last game over the Isles on Monday, 4-0. Their defense is playing a nice and solid. Now, Charlie Lindgren expected in goal here for the Caps. And while I like this Washington Capitals team, I like Charlie Lindgren. I do think here he's only gone 2-5 in those 7 matchups versus the Rangers. I think the Rangers are going to hit him in this game. This team is playing with so much confidence home in the Garden. I think they are the winners. So I'm going to take the Rangers here straight up on that money line at plus 106. I got to love a home dog. I don't think it's going to come easy, though. I can see this being a 2-2 game going to overtime with the Rangers scoring in overtime to get the win with my faith in Igor Shesterkin. So you could play around with the Rangers team total over 2.5 goals. Again, it's going to be hard, but I do see 3 goals. I see a 3-2 win here for the New York Rangers. The over 2.5 goals, though, it's a little juicy at minus 146. The Washington Capitals have a team total of 3.5. Now you can look to take that to the under because I definitely think it cashes. The problem is the books do too. That one is juiced at minus 172. You could alt this one under 2.5 goals. I don't have the price in front of me. I'm guessing you're going to get great value on the under 2.5. And that's something I'm going to look into betting here because the under 2.5 goals, like I said, I think the Rangers win this 3-2, 4-2, or no matter what happens, if we just see only 2 goals for the Caps. Now, they have won their last 8 versus the Metro, and we know this is a battle of the Metro here. We know where the Washington Capitals are sitting. They're sitting first in the Metro with 86 points. They're 10 10 points in front of the Carolina Hurricanes. When we look here at the Rangers, they're 20 points behind the Washington Capitals, sitting fifth in the Metro with 66 points. Against the Capitals, the Rangers have won 3 straight home games and 5 of the last 6. In the division, they're sitting 10-9 on the season, while the Caps are so strong in that division, 13-4. I just think this is one where I'm betting the goaltender, you guys. I'm hoping the defense shows up like they have, Igor shows up like he has, and the Rangers can sneak out this win. Now, could we see the Rangers win 2-1? Yes, we absolutely could. So that is another reason why. That Rangers team total, even though I think we could see them scoring on Charlie Lindgren here, we could see that complete lockdown on the defensive side of things, and then they don't go over that total. So with the juice you have to lay, I just don't love it. I do love the Rangers to win this, and I think it's worth a look at that overtime bet at plus 330 because I won't be shocked if it goes there. Now, who do I think is going to be strong out here for the New York Rangers? Mika Zibanejad has been lighting things up. He is due for point number 45. He has 44 points, 13 goals, 31 assists. You can look at him for a point tonight. He has 4 goals and 10 assists over the last 10 games. So I do think that's going to come into play. The goal scorer, I think, for the Rangers here has to be Panarin. He scored a goal in the last 2 games, combining for 13 shots on goal in those 2 games. So Panarin really has been firing away at net, and I do think he can hit Charlie Lindgren. Now, JT Miller's up for point number 50 as well. He's got 49 points, of course, with 16 goals and 30 assists. So between Zibanejad and Panarin, looking to hit some numbers. Zibanejad for point number 45 and JT Miller, for point number 50. So Panarin has been nice and strong out there as well, and I can't deny him that anytime goal. So definitely a lot of ways to look in this matchup. If you want to look at Ovi here, Ovi's had success versus the Rangers in his career. He's also been firing at goal. We know that they set up the Washington Capitals to get Ovechkin that puck, especially on the power play, to try to break Wayne Gretzky's record here. 11 goals away from breaking it. In 45 career he has 45 career goals. Sorry, I had to get my head wrapped around that. 45 career goals in 75 games versus the New York Rangers in his career. So he's averaging just under or just over a goal per game. So it should be a good one for him to come out firing. His shots on goal, because this is Igor Shesterkin, is where I would look in this one. Yeah, yesterday was a nice upset day. For sure. So good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, there was a lot of overs yesterday, that is for sure. Let's look next at the Ottawa Senators versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Can we get another upset here with the Chicago Blackhawks? Now we know Spencer Knight looks like the future of this team. I thought we'd see Peter Mrazek listed as expected. We are now seeing Soderblom expected as being the goaltender in net. Now, with Spencer Knight coming over, you got to think Peter Mrazek will be on the move here from this team. We're going to see what the Chicago Blackhawks are going to do. But Spencer Knight really giving this team hope for the future. Now, we saw Chicago get that huge win with him in goal. He stood tall between the pipes, but also this offense really had that confidence. They came out so strong versus the LA Kings. We saw them lighting that lamp, but one thing we did not see is Connor Bedard getting on the score sheet again. Connor Bedard has been absolutely silent coming out of the All-Star break. He's got 49 points on the season, so can he hit point number 50? Huge question mark here today, if he can get there. Now, Teravainen has been playing great. I do think we look at Teravainen. We can actually take Teravainen for 2+ points. The reason why I'm liking that is because I think Chicago has every ability to pull off another upset here. They're plus 188 at home versus the Ottawa Senators, who are rolling in at minus 230. And yes, the Ottawa Senators are a strong team, but there's something special about how Chicago is playing at the moment, especially off that win. This one has a total of 5.5. Now, looking at this one, Chicago's won their last 2. Monday, that was a win versus the LA Kings, 5-1. They've got Utah on deck on Friday. Then they hit the road on Saturday versus the Predators to kick off a 4-game road trip. When we look here at the Ottawa Senators, we are seeing them off that loss to the Capitals in their last game out. That one went all the way to a shootout. That was on Monday night, 5-4 loss. They've lost 7 of their last 8 games. This is a play on the number, you guys, at plus 188. I love Chicago here when we're looking at The Ottawa Senators, they do not deserve to be almost a 250 favorite in this matchup. They are at home versus the Rangers on Saturday. So I think while they need this win, they struggle to be able to get it. We have seen also Chicago play the Sens really hard, going 9-1 in the last 10 versus the Senators. So this is a team they've been able to beat. If you don't want to take Chicago straight up on that money line, I don't blame you. I'm all in. You know that this team in their last 10 meetings versus the Sens has averaged 4.1 goals per game, while the Senators have only averaged 2.5. So the Senators have struggled to score on Chicago. I don't think they struggle as much. I think this is a higher scoring game. Chicago's team total sitting at 2.5. If you think they get 3 goals, which I absolutely think that they can, that's coming in at minus 102 to the over 3.5. I also like the look at the Chicago Blackhawks first period money line here. That's coming in at plus 158. We know Chicago's been one of those teams where we have seen go out in some of these first periods and then lose momentum, and the other team has fought their way back. And we know the Ottawa Senators are a stronger team for sure. So the Chicago Blackhawks first period money line coming in at plus 158, and the over 5.5. Now this one has, minus 142. The juice is ticking up. We're going to see that move to 6.5. So if you like it, jump in on it now. I'm going to take Teravainen for 2+ points tonight. It's coming in at plus 450 for Teravainen for 2+ points. He's got 48 points. I think he hits point number 50 tonight, 14 goals and 34 assists. That question mark around Connor Bedard, if he gets a point tonight, his point tonight with 49 points on his sheet, 16 goals and 34 assists. I do think he has to turn things back into the positive here. His point tonight is too juicy, though. It's minus 148. I wouldn't even parlay it at that price. Now, looking at the other side of the puck here with the Ottawa Senators, some players you want to circle for some milestone goals. Tim Struzal here for goal number 20 tonight. He has 19 goals and 44 assists for 63 points. And then Josh Norris for goal number 20 tonight, 19 goals and 12 assists for those 31 points. So definitely a good way to look at some of those players for sure. I do think it's a higher scoring game. Let's jump into the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs are taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And yes, we faded Toronto in their last game out versus the Sharks. And the way that we took the Sharks team total over 2.5, anyone who did bet the Sharks straight up on the money line, congratulations to you. We were able to, and we sweated it out, get the Sharks to hit 3 goals because of the shootout. They were able to get that 3rd goal. So we are able to cash there. We got great plus money. Anyone who took the money line and anyone who faded Toronto in any way really came out on top. Toronto was off a road trip, going home for one and then back out to face this Vegas Golden Knights team here. Now, the problem with this line is I like Vegas. I don't love the regulation. I could see Toronto pushing it to overtime, and the bet here for Vegas on the money line is way too juiced at minus 160. We have plus 132 for the Toronto Maple Leafs and a total of 6.5. It is minus 130 to the under 6.5, and I do think we see a lower scoring game. Again, I don't love the juice on the under 6.5, but I do think Vegas wins this 3-2 style game. The last time these teams faced up, we did see Toronto get the shutout win. They won that one 3-0 back in November. And the last time they rolled into Vegas, they got a huge win. 10 goals were scored in that one. 7 of those goals came from the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you know Vegas is going to be ready for this game here versus Toronto. Adin Hill expected in goal. Adin Hill in 6 games versus the Leafs has a .921 save percentage, a 2.72 goals against average, but has gone 2-1-1. So he hasn't been able to record as many wins as we would like to see, but he has had solid numbers. Vegas's power play has been absolutely dangerous as well, sitting 3rd best in the league at 28.5%. I think Vegas will have the upper hand. And while we talked about the Toronto Maple Leafs and how they are off that just terrible loss to the Sharks, but one that we expected, that is the style of game that the Leafs lose. They are 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. So they have been playing solid hockey out there. We've seen Vegas win their last 2 games. They got that nice win versus the New Jersey Devils. Defense really coming to play, 2-0 at home on Sunday. So we've seen strong defense. This is a battle here, not of divisions. First in the Pacific here for the Vegas Golden Knights, 22-6-3 at home on the season. And first in the Atlantic here for the Leafs, rolling with an 18-9-2 road record this year. I'm going to look at Vegas. I do think Vegas gets the win. I'm hoping that we're going to start seeing that juice come down as this game kicks off out here. If Vegas scores first, we're not going to see that. If the Leafs score first, I'm coming back in on Vegas, but I do like going into this game, the under 6.5. Now, Mitch Marner should come out nice and strong for the Leafs if you're looking for a player there. Noah Hanifin has been looking really nice out there on the ice as well for Vegas, as well as Brandon Saad here. So let's move on to the next game, you guys. You are so welcome. McDavid, McKinnon, Connor all hit last night for 2+ points. I am so glad, Mo, that you were able to get those players for those player points last night. That is awesome. Okay, the next game, the St. Louis Blues versus the LA Kings. Now, this has been a really interesting schedule between these two teams, you guys. So we're going to talk about that. And I do think they play 3 games. They've got 2 more like tonight and then 1 more, and they just played a game. I do think the Blues are the right side again tonight, even though they recorded that last win at home. They're now in LA. So looking at the lines, the St. Louis Blues plus 138 here on the road. I'm all in. Binghamton expected in that. The LA Kings are minus 166, and I know how strong this team has been at home this season, but I'm going to fade the LA Kings here. They're coming off that loss to the Chicago Blackhawks, in which they're only able to put up 1 goal. The LA Kings are strong defensively in that last matchup. They won it 4-1. So this has a total of 5.5, minus 122 to the under. The Blues are right there for a wild card spot, right? They are 3 points out for the last Western Conference wild card spot. So this team is incredibly pushing out there on the ice. And I do think with Binghamton and goal tonight, they can pick up the points versus the LA Kings tonight. Darcy Kemper expected in net for the Kings. Now, Binghamton, you look at him, it is a save percentage below 900, but we know what he's been able to do outside of the Four Nations break. And I do think he brings that momentum in here. Now, these teams play again on Saturday. The LA Kings don't have any games between now and Saturday, but St. Louis has to face the Ducks on Friday. So I'm looking at this one. The next time they play it will be a back-to-back. I think we see the St. Louis Blues pick up points here tonight. I think they pick up points in Anaheim versus the Ducks, and then the LA Kings win the Saturday matchup. So that is how it's playing out in my mind. I do think St. Louis has every ability of these 3 games to win 2 of them. And at plus 138 on the money line tonight, I have to roll with them. Like I said, they won the last matchup. It was just on the first on Saturday. It was a 4-1 win, and it wasn't Binghamton and net for St. Louis. It was David Rittich, and we did see we saw Binghamton in. It was David Rittich in for LA. So Darcy Kemper here will be in net tonight for the LA Kings. They're still going to be able to hit him, but I think this is a lower scoring game. I could see this one finishing 2-1, 3-1 style because of an empty netter with the St. Louis Blues at plus 138. I'll take a chance for the win. Now, 5th in the Central here for the St. Louis Blues, 3rd in the Pacific for the LA Kings. The Kings are also home off 3 road games, so not a great spot. And they've lost their last 4 games. So I can't bet on this team. We are seeing the St. Louis Blues coming off a loss in between that game with the LA Kings. They lost that one to the Stars 6-3. We've got a couple of players for points tonight that we can look at. Jordan Kyrou for point number 50 tonight. He's got 24 goals and 25 assists. So I do think Jordan Kyrou of the St. Louis Blues can get on the board tonight. Robert Thomas is always a playmaker you want to look at. He's sitting nice and solid with 50 points on the season, 16 goals and 34 assists. And then Holloway. Holloway has 46 points, 20 goals, 26 assists, and he scored a goal in each of the Blues' last 3 games. So Holloway has been rolling nice and strong for the St. Louis Blues. Now looking at the other side here for the LA Kings, you guys know I love Kempe and Kopitar parlayed together, and those line mates always seem to get things done for us. We are seeing Kempe with 50 points on the season, 26 goals and 24 assists, and Kopitar sitting here with 48 points, 14 goals and 34 assists. We do have Fiala coming up to 40 points. He's sitting here nicely with 39 points, 24 goals, and 15 assists. We could see Fiala for point number 40 tonight. So that is the way I'm going to go. Yeah, you got to take the Blues here on the money line. I definitely think this is the way you want to go with this matchup. And last but not least, we have the Anaheim Ducks, the pesky Anaheim Ducks who got the win. over the Edmonton Oilers last night. They're on the second night of a back-to-back facing the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks are a $2 favorite here at minus 210. I don't want to touch them. The Anaheim Ducks at plus 172. Now, the Vancouver Canucks, while they have been able to get wins as a favorite in their last 10 as a favorite, they have yet to cover that puck line in those last 10. Can they break that streak tonight versus a tired Anaheim Ducks team? They might be able to, but at minus 1.5 on that puck line at plus 122 for Vancouver, I don't want to touch it. We've got the Anaheim Ducks plus 1.5 at minus 150, so way too much juice there. Total of 5.5, minus 114 to the over. What I'll do is I'll look at Vancouver's team total. I think if anything, they're going to be able to nicely light the lamp. Now, Gibson is again expected. Dostal played last night. So tired of seeing the Anaheim Ducks listing. Gibson is expected in last minute, and I'm talking last minute. I didn't see goalie confirmation until like 10 minutes before the puck dropped here for Dostal last night. And at that point, it changes every way you want to go. So Gibson, Dostal played last night. It's got to be John Gibson. We know John Gibson allows beach balls to go into the back of his net. So look for Vancouver. I know this is their first game home off of a 5-game road trip. The Ducks have struggled to win in Vancouver, but they also have struggled to win in Edmonton, and we saw what happened last night. So you kind of got to look at this Ducks team with Leo Carlsson and Troy Terry and how they're playing right now and just go, man, could they get it done again? McTavish has been looking strong as well. So I think the best and easiest and safest way to go is Vancouver's team total. We know Vancouver can score. Now, Quinn Hughes might be out of the lineup today, still waiting on confirmation if he's going to hit the ice. He's got an undisclosed injury. He only practiced yesterday for limited minutes out there on the ice. So I do think Quinn Hughes, hugely impactful. As long as he's on the ice tonight, over 3.5 goals for Vancouver at minus 106. You've got Garland as well, 37 points, 16 goals, 21 assists. Botzler coming in at 36 points, 18 goals, 18 assists. Jake DeBrusk, 35 points, 21 goals, and 14 assists. And Pettersson, 35 points, 11 goals, and 24 assists. Like I said, the Ducks just haven't played well here. They hadn't played well in Edmonton either, but they're 0-4 in the last 4. In Vancouver, sound about right. That's what they were rolling into Edmonton last night, and 1-8 in their last 9 meetings overall. Just give me Vancouver's team total in case this Ducks team is quacking again tonight. I do think we can see goals quick. Anaheim proved last night that they could get those goals quick. And I do think in this one, with Vancouver returning home from a road trip as well, Vancouver has been the weaker spot for them at home than out on the road for the Canucks. So first period over 1.5 goals is minus 116. And then you're not taking one team. You're able to just come out here nicely and hope that either both teams score or one team lights the lamp a couple of times. So the over 1.5 in the first period. You got the Sharks on the money line, the Flames on the money line, Ducks on the money line. Look at that. And the Red Wings. Too bad on the Red Wings last night. I couldn't believe that they didn't play a stronger game out there. I expected a lot more out of them. Mika Zibanejad for 2+ points. Yeah, for the Rangers, I would look at Mika as well. Brock Nelson, anytime goal, and Tim. Brock Nelson. Brock Besner, sorry. You're looking at Brock Besner there. And Tim Struzal. Tim Struzal and Brock Besner, yeah, I do think should be a good way to go. We're looking at Besner coming in with 36 points, 18 goals, and 18 assists. If Quinn Hughes is out of this lineup, he's definitely going to have to step up in tonight's matchup. So it definitely should be a good way to go. You guys, Leo Carlsson on the other side for the Anaheim Ducks. He's been able to score a goal in 3 of the last 4 games here for the Ducks. So look at Leo Carlsson to come out nice and hot here in Vancouver too. Yeah, Brock Besner. Sometimes I see the name and I just I can't think of that last name right away. So let's go. Let's make some freaking money today, you guys. He has been quiet. He has been quiet for sure. Okay, let's recap today's games. Like I said, only 5 games out there on deck. Please make sure you stay tuned. Let's just double check if Igor Shesterkin has any numbers posted here for the New York Rangers, because I'm really excited to do. Yeah, he's not confirmed yet, so no numbers out there. on the sports book, but really excited to see what Igor Shesterkin is able to do. So recap time, we're going to kick it off these 5 games. We got the Washington Capitals taking on the New York Rangers for the first game on deck, the puck dropping at 7:30 Eastern. I'm expecting Igor Shesterkin to stay hot between the pipes. The Rangers have been able to win their last 2 games by shutout, and I do think the Washington Capitals are going to struggle to score in this game. Igor is getting hot at the right time. He's going to be so strong down the stretch here for the New York Rangers. I do think the Washington Capitals stay under 3.5 goals. It's too juiced at -172. You can ult it to under 2.5 goals, 2 goals at most here for the Washington Capitals, and that will get you great plus money. I'm going to look at the Rangers at +106 here on the money line, but I won't be shocked if this game goes to overtime at +330. But Igor is the goaltender that I trust in OT. Panarin for the anytime goal here for the New York Rangers. He's been just so hot as of late. Goals in the last 2 games, 13 shots on net combined in those 2 games. I think he really plays solid. Now, JT Miller for point number 50, I think, is in the cards tonight, and Mika Zibanejad for point number 45. So that is where I'd go. If you want to look at Ovi tonight, look at Ovechkin's shots on goal. They're going to be absolutely feeding him. 4+ shots on goal for Ovechkin coming in at +138. So you're going to have to lay juice. He's got 45 goals in 75 games versus the Rangers in his career. We know he's chasing records. They're always looking to feed Ovechkin. The Ottawa Senators versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Give me the Blackhawks to keep rolling hot here in this one. I'm going to take a shot on them for the full game on the money line, but I also like first period money line here for the Chicago Blackhawks. Look for a hot start with this team getting the win versus the Kings with new life on this team. The first period money line coming in at +158. I do think Chicago can go over 2.5 goals. That's coming in at -102. They've shown that they can score on the Ottawa Senators last 10 meetings, averaging 4.1 goals per game. While the Senators have struggled to score on Chicago, I don't think there'll be that struggle for the Sens tonight with Sonderblom expected in goal. So give me the over 5.5 goals between these 2 teams. Brady Tkachuk has been so hot. We know that, but I'm going to circle Tim Struzal for goal number 20 tonight. For the Sens, he's got 19 goals, 44 assists on the season for 63 points. And then Josh Norris, goal number 20 as well, 19 goals and 12 assists for 31 points. Tara Vinen on the other side for the Chicago Blackhawks. 2+ points for me for Tara Vinen. That's coming in at +450. Let's hit point number 50 tonight, and he will do that with 2 because he has 48 points, 14 goals, and 34 assists. Now, Connor Bedard, if you think he can get on the board, he's too juiced for his 1 point tonight. It's -148, but he is sitting 1 point shy of 50. So he needs to get back on track. All those goals in the last game and no points for Connor Bedard. It's kind of a head shaker out there. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vegas Golden Knights. I think Vegas is the right side. Give me Vegas to win this 3-2. The problem is Vegas is too juiced right now on the money line. Give me the under 6.5 coming in at -130. And then I'm looking to live bet Vegas when the juice starts to drop. The St. Louis Blues and the LA Kings, Binghamton versus Darcy Kemper. Give me the St. Louis Blues to win the second game in a row versus the LA Kings. They did face up on Saturday in St. Louis. The St. Louis Blues got the win. Now they face up here again in LA, and then they'll match up again on Saturday in LA. The Kings have no games in between. The Blues do have the Ducks in between. Give me the Blues to win this one. The Kings to win that next game on Saturday as the Blues win again in Anaheim in their next matchup. So the Blues are fighting for that last wild card spot in the Western Conference. Looking at points tonight here for the St. Louis Blues, Jordan Kyrou's 1 point away from 50. So point number 50 for Kyrou. I do think Robert Thomas and Holloway, also strong players, may be parlaying their points together. And then on the other side, Kempe and Kopitar, you guys know that I always play around with their points. Fiala's coming up to point number 40 tonight. He's got 39 on deck. And then last but not least, the pesky Anaheim Ducks taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Give me the first period over 1.5 goals coming in at -116. Expect hot scoring to start. Gibson is expected. And we saw Dostal last night. The Ducks coming in hot off of a win versus Edmonton. Can they keep it going? Not sure if they can keep it going here, but we have seen Vancouver struggle to really blow teams out as a favorite. They haven't covered that puck line in the last 10. Give me the Vancouver Canucks over 3.5 goals at -106. Expect those goals to come, but I only really like this if Quinn Hughes is in the lineup. Quinn Hughes leading scorer or leading points for this team with 60 points, 14 goals, and 46 assists. I think Garland and Brock Besser and Jake DeBrusk and Pedersen all can really step up in this game. So Vancouver over 3.5. I'm just hoping that Quinn Hughes is in the lineup. And on the other side, Leo Carlson has been hot for the Ducks, scoring in 3 of the last 5. Blues money line. Yeah, I absolutely love the Blues here on the money line for sure. Calgary came out with a vengeance over the Philadelphia Flyers. You look at the teams that they've been playing on this road trip, they really needed that big step up. And the revenge angle, Morgan, Frost, and Farabee was nice and strong there. Calgary playing against a couple of players that used to be on their team. It was a really great night. Favorite players for points tonight. Yeah, let's look at the favorite players for points tonight. I'm going to stay off Vancouver and the Anaheim Ducks. I do think you look at Jordan Kyrou here of the St. Louis Blues. I love him to come out nice and strong. And then it is Tara Vinen here of the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, you don't have to take him for the 2+ points. You can just look at him for the 1 point tonight. So you could parlay here Jordan Kyrou of the Blues, Tara Vinen of the Chicago Blackhawks, and then Panarin of the New York Rangers. All 3 of those guys for their points tonight will get you great plus money. Actually, let's just build that really quick. So the point here for Panarin, it is juicy at -235, but when we parlay it and when we add it in to Tara Vinen here, let's just see what we're getting. Tara Vinen for the 1 point is -115. Again, you guys, I do like him for the 2+ points. And then when we look at the St. Louis Blues, Jordan Kyrou is -102 for the point. So when we look here at, let me just remove New York's team total, Washington's team total to the under. When we look here at a 3-leg parlay for 3 players that I like the points for, Panarin for a point of the New York Rangers, Tara Vinen for a point for the Chicago Blackhawks, and Jordan Kyrou for a point for the St. Louis Blues. 3-legger coming in at +427. You guys, it should be a great night out there on the ice. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here with me on the daily. It is always my best time of day talking hockey with you guys, my favorite sport to bet on. So let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. Remember, my Cup of Joes on the hardwood will be released just a little bit later here this morning. We went 2-1 yesterday with the Cup of Joe plays in college basketball. Also, stay tuned to Game Time Decisions for my Sports Millions pick'ems as well. You don't want to miss out on that, as well as checking out the SportsGrid app for the Madden Quickie. So much going on, you guys. Don't miss out on everything that is happening. Make sure you drop your bets below, what you're liking, what you're parlaying today, and where you're seeing value in any of these players. If I missed anyone for those milestone goals or games, make sure you drop that below so everyone can tell you. And here's a challenge. Is it anyone's birthday today? I love a good birthday scorer. So if it's someone's birthday, please let me know. One thing I forgot to check on today's slate was who was coming up for a birthday on the card. Now, I love goalies on their birthdays to have those shutouts. And don't forget, it's not Igor's birthday today, but don't forget, stay tuned to YouTube for a post, as well as X for a post for Igor Shesterkin. Those save shots on goal tonight. We're going to be looking into those numbers as we get confirmation here for Igor and where we're going to go. So you guys, all the best in all your bets. See you back here tomorrow, noon Eastern, and daily noon Eastern here on the grid. Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as